All right, so today we're going to look at something really cool. It's an organization that's basically flipping the script on how we think about foreign aid. They're asking this kind of radical question. What if the real goal wasn't just to, treat a problem? What if it was to help restore a community's entire sense of self, their identity, so they could solve their own problems? And this really is the big question, isn't it? Billions and billions of dollars are spent on aid, and it comes from a good place, right? We see a problem, we want to help. People are sick, we send medicine. They're hungry, we send food. But after all that time and all that money, why does it feel like so many things are still just broken? Okay, to really get a sense of the scale we're talking about, look at this number, 1.2 billion. That's how many people are affected by something called neglected tropical diseases, or NTDs. Basically, these are illnesses that are super common in low-income parts of the world. And that number, wow, it's just staggering. It's a massive part of humanity that's often completely overlooked. And look, this isn't just about people being sick. The World Health Organization is really clear on this. These diseases are one of the main things that causes poverty. It creates this awful, devastating cycle, It just robs people of their energy, their ability to go to work or school. Really, it robs them of their entire potential. So, okay, if just throwing money and medicine at the issue isn't the whole answer, what is? Well, this is where the organization we're looking at, Sustainable Med, comes in with a totally different way of thinking. They call it the identity solution. And it's all about shifting from just treating the symptoms to actually getting at the root cause. This chart really lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way of doing things, the model we all kind of know. Outside experts come in, they give out resources, and what's the end result? A lot of the time, it just creates dependency. But now look at the right. This is the new model. Here, local leaders are the ones designing the solutions. The focus isn't on just giving stuff, it's on restoring identity. And the result? Real, actual sustainability. It breaks that cycle. In this quote, this really gets to the absolute heart of it. We do not tell them what the problems are. It's a completely hands-off approach. Think about that. They don't show up with some big pre-made plan from the West. No. Instead, they just equip the local leaders with a framework and then trust them. Why? Because they are the real experts. They live there. They know the culture. They know what's actually going to work. So what do they even mean when they say restored identity? It's way deeper than just like self-esteem. It's this fundamental shift in how people see themselves. It's moving from feeling broken, forgotten, totally powerless, to genuinely believing you are valued, you are capable, and you have a purpose. That belief, that right there is the engine for everything that comes next. Okay, so that's the big idea, the philosophy. It sounds great, right? But how does it actually work on the ground? Let's break down the practical steps they take to make this whole vision a reality. It boils down to a pretty clear 4-step process. First, they train the local leaders. We're talking faith leaders, doctors, community organizers. Second, they teach them a specific patented problem-solving method. Third, and this is the absolute key, they empower those leaders to be the ones who design and own the solutions. And finally, they just step back. They become, in their own words, as invisible as possible, always there for support, but never ever taking over. And holding that whole process together are these guiding principles. A couple of these just really jump out. Go based on relationship, not just need. Think about that. That means they're in it for the long haul, investing in people, not just swooping in to fix a problem and leaving. And then this one, see failure as part of the learning process. Wow, that is huge. It gives people the freedom to try new things, to innovate without being afraid of getting it wrong. That's how you find what really works. So we've got the philosophy, we've got the process. But here's the million-dollar question. Does it actually work? Well, this is where the story gets really incredible, because the results, they pretty much speak for themselves. Just look at this number, 98%. In some of the places where they start, the rate of disease is 98%. Just let that sink in for a second. That means almost every single man, woman, and child is affected. It's almost total. And then this happens. Those crazy high rates, they don't just go down a little bit, they plummet. We're talking near eradication. And get this, it's not over decades or generations. This happens in just a few short years. It's just unbelievable proof of what happens when a community truly owns its own future. And that sense of ownership, you can actually see it in the numbers, and it is staggering. For every single dollar that comes in from the outside, the local community themselves puts in the equivalent of $86. That's through their own labor, their own materials, their own resources. This is the exact opposite of dependency. This is ownership. And this might be my favorite part of the whole thing. When people feel that ownership, it just unlocks this local genius that was there the whole time. Like this incredible story of a grandmother in Uganda. She had this recipe for a tea made from pumpkin seeds. Well, they tested it, and it turned out to be almost as effective against intestinal worms as modern Western medicine. The solution wasn't thousands of miles away in a lab. It was right there in the wisdom of the community. And you can see here the impact goes so much deeper than just health. It's this incredible ripple effect. Once people are healed and empowered, the entire community starts to transform. The local economy starts growing. Community hubs like local churches get stronger. People are healed not just in their bodies, but in every part of their lives. All of this leads to what is maybe the most radical, most counterintuitive idea of the entire model. For this organization, the ultimate sign of success isn't growing bigger. It's not getting more funding. No, their whole model is literally designed to make themselves disappear. And it's not just some nice idea. They have an actual exit strategy. You can see it here. Their top local partners, they become leaders of excellence, who then go on to train others in their own country. They help start local businesses to create funding that stays in the community. The whole endgame is total self-reliance. So the need for outside help is just gone. For good. And really, this final quote just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly sums up their whole philosophy. Sustainable med is not the hero. God and the local leaders are the ones who get and deserve the credit. Their job isn't to be the hero. It's to equip and support the real heroes of the story, the people who are transforming their own communities from the inside out. So let's end with the question that's really at the core of this whole model. It's a challenge to how we think about everything, about aid, about expertise, about potential. What if the most powerful solutions aren't the ones we fly in from thousands of miles away? What if they're already there, in the community, just waiting for us to get out of the way so they can be discovered?